Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate Basic Tactics and Combat Evaluation stuffs. I just made that up. But today we're going to work on the Switch Axe. Switch Axe is a really cool weapon. It was introduced in Monster Hunter Tri. It's fairly new, but it has a lot of combos and a lot of cool things about it, so let's get into it. Alright, standard straight off, X to unsheath the weapon, it goes into axe mode. Alright, standard axe mode, it looks like an axe, it's fairly simple, fairly cool. Then if you tap R, turns to the sword mode. Two different modes, axe, sword, switch axe, switch from axe to sword. Let's start off with axe mode. All the combos that the axe does is infinite. Actually, all the combos switch axe does, period, is infinite. So by just tapping forward and X, which is the main combo you'll probably try to use, because it doesn't really do a lot of surround area team damage. By that I mean like just interrupting your teammates and whatnot. The only attack you have to worry about is a third attack in it, where anyone to your right will probably get hit. So that's that. That's forward X. Standing X, you go with the big chop instead of that forward, and then you'll come down, or you finish up with that high, what do you call it, like a high uppercut attack. It is the highest reaching attack in the game, so with that attack you can actually clip wyvern wings that are flying, so to speak. So if need be, if you want to press X and A together, you can do that, and you'll be able to clip monsters from way up high. Really good tactic there. Switching over to sword mode, simple, bam, alright, there we go. Now you have an X combination where it's infinite as well. Take close note to that meter next to your weapon sharpness. Every time you swing the sword, it goes down a bit. That's your X combination there, and this is your A combination, all infinite. Alright, let's switch back to sword axe mode really quick. I'm gonna show you something really cool. One thing you can do with the switch axe, you can actually combo from axe into sword and vice versa. Kind of hard to master, but once you get it down, it adds an extra flair to your attacks, and if you need that extra bit of damage, it helps quite a bit as well, because sword damage, for the most part, it has mind's eye into it, to where that means, let's say if you're attacking a certain part of the monster who would normally make your weapon bounce, it won't bounce, it'll go straight through. So let's start off fairly simple. X combination right there. See, the first attack, the first lunging sweep, if you tap R and X at the same time, you'll turn into sword mode. So hold on, I didn't even start the combination, sorry about that. Going back into axe mode. Alright, forward X. Alright, messed up. Forward X. Hold on. See, it's kind of tricky to get into. Once you get it, you'll have it down. And then from there, if you use A in the same manner, tap R and A together, you'll go from sword back to axe. So let's do it again in case you missed it. Alright, forward X. I never always get on the first try, but bear with me. You'll want to tap R and A together, or R and X together to get that. And then to get from sword to axe, you want to go R and A. It's kind of hard to master, but once you get it down, it can be quite useful. But for the most part, that's the basics of the switch axe. Oh, I can't believe I forgot the most important part of the switch axe. Alright, the switch axe has this really cool move called the discharge. What you do is, you go in sword mode. You want to make sure your gauge is fairly high, because it's going to drain your gauge by at least half. If you press X and A together, you'll thrust your sword into a monster, and then if you repeatedly tap X, it will discharge a lot of damage into the monster in this really cool fashion. The damage it does really depends on what file you're using, or vial or file, whatever, in the switch axe, which I could get into, but that's advanced tactics, so let's not really worry about that. But if you press X and A together, you charge your switch axe in a thrusting motion. That's what I mean by thrusting into the enemy. Alright, so we're gonna do that and repeatedly tap X, and you'll see what happens. Fairly cool, if I do say so myself. It does a lot of damage, so if need be, what people like to do is, and you have to reload afterwards sometimes. Simply press R when it prompts you to reload, and you'll be reloaded. But a lot of people like to use that discharge attack when they're trying to finish off a combo on a monster. It does a high amount of damage at the end burst of it, so a lot of times monster will stagger afterwards. So that's pretty much the switch axe in a nutshell in terms of basics. There's some advanced things you can do with it as well, but you know, this is a basic guide trying to get people to open up to the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be on the lookout for more like this. Next time we'll be getting into some of the extra fly weapons, I like to say, which tend to be a bit harder to master. So stay tuned for that. Holla at your boy.